or three people have accused me of being unpatriotic because I'm always abusing Nigeria and its government. And yes, most of the time I'm annoyed with this place. But honestly, I've never been prouder to be in Nigeria than when Burna Boy won that Grammy. Well done, Burna. You definitely deserved it. And the traffic assassin this morning killed that pride a little bit. Plus, Burna himself said he won for Africa and he didn't really call us. But how well done to you and to Wizkid too. My name is Tamara and you are now watching The Yellow Wall.
Make I tell you the matter. Still an agent butter with this pure water, but no be me go judge.
In the last episode, I complained that nothing really juicy had happened in a while, and the universe rewarded me with the juiciest interview of the decade. Meghan Markle and Harry sit down with Oprah. The tea was fantastic, with the couple explaining that they essentially left because some other royals were racist, and all the bad British press was messing with their mental health. They said they weren't getting help, but they shall left. The best part of the whole thing for me personally was the new meme of Oprah saying, "What? That's been born." Love it. That's the highlight of my year so far. March 8th was International Women's Day, and while I personally think at least every other Thursday should be Women's Day, I'll settle for making this whole month about women. I mean, the month is pretty women heavy already on its own. First, we had Meghan finally being able to speak up after being trapped in a literal castle. The kidnapping and murder of a young woman called Sarah Everard in Kent, England sparked an outpouring of comments and stories from women all over the world about how scary it is just to walk the streets alone. Mother's Day happened recently, which was, cute. And in happy girl power news, Beyonce's Grammy wins this year officially means she has the most wins of any other female and is tied with Quincy Jones for most wins of any artist ever. Period! Quincy! So yeah, good news, bad news, women are going through a lot right now. And I know that, some men sure are going through their own things, but please, that's not my focus right now. Right now, I want to focus on the theme for this year's International Women's Day, which was Choose to Challenge. People kept posting about it on the day and using the hashtag and doing the pose in their stories, but it's fizzled out now. I've only seen it a few times since the 8th, and it's usually, Weibo people using it. But I really love this theme, and I think it's really important because challenging the status quo is really the only way anything is ever going to actually change. And doing that challenging is a choice, not just for women, but for everybody who believes in equality. The question is, how does one choose to challenge, especially here in this Nigeria? And honestly, there's no wrong or right way to do it, but me being me, I do have a few suggestions. Which brings me to today's topic, things Nigerians can #choose to challenge. Thing 1, the treatment of single women. Being single and female in Nigeria can at times feel similar to being a criminal. People have their judging eyes on you wherever you go. Sometimes you're not allowed to enter buildings unless you have a man with you. Other times you can't buy property or rent a place. I even heard a story of how a woman got in a car accident once and the person who hit her refused to talk to her until her husband came. It can often feel like women aren't truly women in Nigeria until they get married. And that's insane. While single men frolic about freely, single women are either ignored or denied, and we're so used to it that we just laugh about it and adjust. Like, if you want to rent a place, you find a pretend boyfriend when you are going to the house. Or you have to get a male friend to help you talk to a man who can't be asked to deal with your type. Challenge it! If you try and get in somewhere and the security at the door say, "Sorry, no single women," demand to speak to the owner of the whole damn building. If you are trying to buy a house and the landlord is acting weird, threaten him with the full weight of the law. It's not even always by shouting. Sometimes try and reason with people and literally ask them what crime you and your empty ring finger have really done. Even if you know you won't get that house or you won't get into that venue, challenge it anyway. Just bending over and taking it is how things got this bad in the first place. Being a lady who isn't married is in no way a crime, and screw anyone who makes you feel like it is. Thing 2, unequal pay. Honestly, I don't know why I made this thing 2 because money is always number 1. The gender wage gap is the average difference between how much men and women are paid. And across pretty much the whole world, women are paid less. Whites have come up with various excuses. Can I say whites? Is that racist?
No, you can't be racist. You are black people.
There you go. Cool. Whites have come up with various excuses and reasons, but here in Nigeria, where the patriarchy shows no shame at all, bosses will tell you it's not their fault. They will tell you it's a necessary evil because women will get married or get pregnant or both and eventually quit, so why pay up anyway? Ladies and gentlemen and everyone in between, challenge you. If a woman is doing exactly what a man is doing, pay them the same amount. screw this stupid excuse of, oh, they'll eventually quit. Just because people have dicks doesn't mean they'll stay at the job forever, does it? I've also personally once been told that my prices are too high for a girl, considering the fact that one day I'll be married. Guys, no. Just no. This is 2021, for goodness sake. You can't assume every woman who is married is being spoiled or taken care of. Not even just because it's an outdated, stupid stereotype, but because, hello, have you not seen the economy? Buhari is president and the world is in a pandemic. Every damn Nigerian is broker than usual. It doesn't matter who you are. This is not the time for being kept there. If I'm here working, you better believe I need the coins. Plus, even if you are blessed and highly favored and really don't need the paycheck, who cares? It's not your employer or anyone else's business to assess what other money you may or may not have from a husband, father, even, yes, sugar daddy self. All your employer needs to be concerned with is the job at hand and the necessary compensation. Challenge this, my friends. Even if you won't do anything else on this list, even if you're one of those women who hates feminism for some stupid reason, challenge this particular thing because you deserve those coins. Thing 3, rape culture. Nigeria is interesting when it comes to rape. We're better than before, but still interesting. In the past, I feel like the victim was always immediately to blame. Where were you? Why were you out by yourself? Why were you wearing that? The usual stupid questions. But nowadays, we're outraged by the rapist and only still kind of blame the victim. Only now it's a little more subtle and posed as like concerned questions. Oh, it's terrible this happened to you. But I have to ask, why were you out so late? We have to stop that. But I'll admit, I do think we're getting like much better at dealing with rape situations. My producer is shaking her head a firm no, so I guess not. Where we are definitely slacking is how we treat the rapists. While now the victims get treatment, people are being encouraged to listen to them, and new laws were created to punish rapists, for the most part, there are still no consequences, especially if you have money. And society too, they will shout and be angry for a while, and then they'll get over it. Challenge it! Like I said, we're getting better. Apparently not, but I think we're getting a little bit better. And I'm hearing so many more conversations around rape and people trying to educate themselves. But there's still a lot of just forget about it going on. I'm sure if I dare to bring up the alleged rapist, who's also one of our biggest artists, some of you will start shouting, but that was in the past now. She even lost some endorsement deals. Forgive! That's your stupid business. It's not enough. Rapists need to be held accountable. Period.
Did you see that masturbation story that they're trying to find the man that have put money?
No? Which masturbation story?
So a man was masturbating next to a girl in the car, and the girl was now complaining a record, and the man beat her up.
The man beat her up? Mm-hmm. But I don't know why she bothered recording. Me, I love when men whip out their dick. Bring it. Bring it. But she should have helped him. Grab it. Stupid now. He beat her up. But she said, how? How did the beating start? When his dick was outside. He can't have won.
Let's go.
Thing 4, calling people ashawo. So like I said before, being a single woman in Nigeria is almost a crime. But being a single woman who has sex, Jesus, that one makes you a full-on Jezebel. Whether you're actually having the sex or not is not the point. You are shy Jezebel. Women across the world face society's double standard of people wanting us to be super slutty and super virginal at the same time. You are either one or the other, a prude or a whore, no in between, especially here in Nigeria. Which means once you're not holding a Bible and wearing chastity belt, you're automatically slutty. And Nigerians, both men and women, seem to hate the idea of orgasms outside marriage, so they will immediately deem you evil. While Nigerians take clapping for men and their ever-wandering dicks, women are condemned for even knowing what dicks are. So of course, when we want to insult women here, the go-to insult is slut or ashawo. Please, Jesus, challenge it. I had an argument with a man who cut in front of me in a bank that was not access, and he called me a slut. And if you see the hate he used to say it, like I was genuinely shook. I didn't understand it. I was in sweats and a t-shirt at a bank. What about that says slut? I don't understand if the idea of a woman with no ring on her finger and the audacity to speak back to him was so ridiculous in this guy's head that the only logical conclusion was that I suck dick for a living. I don't understand the man's foolishness, but I sure as hell challenged it. Call me a bitch, call me a witch, call me a fool, insult me. But don't call me that because it's not an insult. It's a job. It's like being in an argument with someone and shouting, "You bloody accountant!" Like why? Women who have sex, for money or not, are not evil. They are simply women who have sex. Ashawo should not be an insult. Should not be an insult. Prostitute should not be an insult. Husband stealing bastard. That's fine. That one is an insult. But all the others are just jobs, dear. And people who are these things are not bad. I'm not saying they are good, because people in the comments will soon say I'm advising people to pick up prostitution. No! What I'm saying is these things are used as insults because women who have sex are seen as dirty and wrong. And they're not! So stop using having sex as an insult. Really, this is me. Really does. And finally, thing 5, ourselves. Women the world over have been through it. But Nigerian women, wow. We've been raised in a society that's taught us men are kings. And I blame white people for some of our problems, because at least in the past, while Nigerian men were the kings, Nigerian women were the badass queens who could at least speak. But then the colonizers were like, nah, none of that. And so we grew up thinking men are kings that could do no wrong, and a woman's work was to make sure her king was good. More and more, when I hear men say some misogynistic crap, instead of being angry, I pity them a bit, because they're not trying to be mean or horrible. They're just going with how things have been all their lives. I do think men need to start educating themselves on current society, but women, the main work is on us. The Nigerian patriarchy doesn't think women are equal to men. So challenge that. Every day, in every way you can. You don't even have to be loud about it. You don't have to join feminist coalition and unfollow every man on your Twitter. You don't even necessarily have to fight for other women, but at least fight for yourself. Nigerian women need to speak up, always, no matter the situation. In your marriage, in your office, in your friendship group, always make sure you're treated equally. It's as simple as opening your mouth and asking for what you want, asking for what you feel you deserve, and asking to be treated the way you should be treated. If you can't be asked to choose any other challenge, at least challenge yourself to always speak up. Feminism essentially began because one woman somewhere stood up for herself one day. So you do it too. Use your voices, women. Every little counts. Before I wrap up, it's now time for our new segment, Ask Me. This is the part of the show where I answer all your questions, no matter who or what or where they might be about. I've seen in the comments and been told by my crew that my advice is questionable, but I guarantee I would do or have already done anything I'm advising. So, yeah, take that as you will. So let's go. How did I become? I don't know. I've realized I think a lot of people don't speak their minds because they're really scared of reactions or what other people will say. I genuinely don't give a So, and for the most part, no one else gives a Everybody's scared to say things, but nobody actually cares. So just say what you want and deal with the consequences after. But most of the time, there's no consequences. So just say what you want. I don't know how to describe it. Honey, tell him to stop or to do what he wants. Do not be afraid. If you are afraid to tell your man what you want sexually, why are you dating him? Because you should be able to tell him anything, especially if you're having sex with him. As far as I'm concerned, if somebody has seen your bum hole, there should be no secrets, there should be no fear. You should be able to open your mouth and say anything. They've seen your butt. What could you be shy to say at that point? Really, what? Especially if he's doing stuff that you really don't like, please tell him to stop. And if he does break up with you because of that, then he's trash. So good riddance to bad rubbish. This shouldn't even be an issue. Do it today. As you are watching this, do it now. Text him now. He's seeing your butt. Come on, sis. And that's enough for today. If you have any questions about absolutely anything, then go ahead and email them to asktamara@gmail.com with 1 W, because why not? Or you can go ahead and DM us on the Instagram. And that brings me to the end of the episode. What are some ways you have chosen to challenge status quo? Let me know in the comments below on our social media platforms, and be sure to subscribe to Accelerate TV for all of our female-friendly content. My name is Tamara, and I'll be back in 2 weeks with more from the Yellow Wall.
Make I table the matter. Still an butter with this pure water, but no be me go